we did this, and it was hugely successful in that we were able to reach a whole bunch more people and help more people. And this is the Friday one is the one where we just kind of chill out anyways. So I set this up as I scheduled, let me just mute that. That's me going live. I scheduled this as a live, but however, I don't know if it's working with the schedule one through YouTube. Sometimes it's a little funky. Sometimes things get just a little bit funky when you're going from Zoom to YouTube, especially when it's scheduled, which is what I did. And we'll just give it one more minute, let people fill in, and then we'll get to the Q's and the A's. Oh, I know, you want to chat with each other. Let's do that. Let's open up the chat so you can say hi to each other. And it's Friday. You know what that means, Cindy. Okay, you guys can chat with everyone. Cindy, try to behave yourself, please. I'm kidding, of course, you know that. Okay, chat's open. You can say hello, and you can yell at me. And we're just 1 minute past the top of the hour, so I'm sure a lot more people are going to come in. There we go. I don't know, what does that even mean, Paul, TGIF? Why would you be thankful it's Friday? I'll tell you why I am. Bonus points in the chat if you know why I'm thankful it's Friday. Excellent. Thank you. That's exactly right. I'm thankful it's Friday because there are still 2 more days to the work week. Yeah, you get to, okay, that's it. That's it. Paul's got it. He gets to work 2 more days. He says I'm looking good on ZoomTube. All right. Thank you. Thanks for checking that out, Trev. All right. That means I can go over here and stop worrying about it. Because I was worrying about it, and now I'm not worrying about it. Listen, you have my permission to work every day of the week. Oh man, there it is. Oh, that thing is huge. All right, I do actually got it. I do have to hang out on YouTube, I think, because I got to check out the chat. Hey, thanks a lot for the people who are hanging out there on YouTube. This is the high production value that you get with me, where I just kind of narrate everything I'm doing with you for a little while we get going. But we got a bunch of people on YouTube. That's great. I see the amazing Cicely Simpson's there. She's in both places. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. So anyone, you can drop questions here. Looks good on YouTube. I have you twice. That is scary. Drop questions here and I'll answer them. I'm typing this on YouTube. Drop questions here and I'll answer them. Some of them I'll even answer correctly. All right. Drop questions here and I'll answer them. Some of them I will even answer correctly. I'm going to do my best. And everybody say hello. It's not her first call with, oh my gosh, the chat is already going crazy. The chat's already going crazy. All right, it's not her first call. It is her first Friday Q&A. So Hulan is here. Welcome to your first Friday Q&A. I don't know how to describe the Friday Q&As aside from things go a little crazy in the Friday Q&As. No, things don't go crazy. The chat, the inside chat, the Zoom chat does go crazy. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to make the YouTube chat go equally crazy. So I had a really interesting question come in, and it was, wow, even more people are here. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you, everybody, for showing up today. I know your time is valuable, especially on a Friday. So I am profoundly grateful that you decided to spend some of it with me, and even more as more and more people come in. I got to remember, I can't go full bore on you when I start like right at the beginning, because people work their way in. I had an interesting question come up. Let me find it. It was actually sent to me. And let me see if I can find this thing without causing a lot of ruckus. Okay. So I'm going to read this question. This is a pretty big one. Let me see if I can find, I might just paste this into a chat. I'm not into a chat. I'm going to paste this on the screen because this might be a little bit of a longer answer. This is a great question, and it's a complex question, so it's not going to be an easy answer by any stretch. So let me share this. Go to the whiteboard, which you can now see. Text. Ready? This is the high production value. Okay, so this question came in, and so let's get to the root of this. Chris, can you elaborate on, at the early stage of career, how to combine our skills and create a rare combination of skills which adds value to another, which are both useful in the company's growth, also skyrocketing our progress? I'm an HVAC design engineer in the construction industry. I don't know what the AEC construction industry is, and I've heard about skill stacking. So I was keen to know how it's done properly to work at our advantage. You want to talk about the high quality questions that come in. This is a high quality question. Hey, do me a favor, since not a favor, but if you could, since this is Friday and we all know what happens in the chat on Fridays, I will definitely miss conversations that are going on. So what I would like for you to do, if you do have questions, actual questions, put them in the Q&A, you guys on Zoom. AEC is architectural engineering and construction. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about I don't know if you've ever heard about this. Have you ever heard about the T model of skills? This is the T model of skills. Let me show you how this works. I would love it if Zoom allowed me to copy and paste shapes, but it kind of doesn't. Let's see, maybe I can if I do this. Copy, paste, nothing. Option drag, nothing. Right click, nothing. That just seems like the easiest thing to implement. This is the T model of skills. And especially when you're starting or growing a business, you always got to kind of do this. Oh, I forgot to do one of the T's. That's all right. I'll just put one more of these in. So the first thing that you do whenever you're starting something, and there are so many facets to this. So step number one, whenever you're starting something, is you first must analyze the following. A, what are you most inspired to do? What is it that you think about your goal and your mission and the things that you want to provide to your marketplace? You've got to first ask this question. What are you most inspired to do? Here's how you answer that question. You ask, what would I do if I were not limited by time, education, money, opportunity? What would I do? What if I had no limitations whatsoever? What would I do? Then you say, what would I do that I could work on every single day tirelessly without ever feeling fatigued? And I could do it 7 days a week. And I could do it 18, 20, 24 hours a day if needed. And they listen, Cicely Simpson here, she'll tell you, she's like me. We're full bore on this thing. Sometimes we're sleeping at our desks. There's somebody else. She's not here right now, but she could be here in this Zoom. I know for a fact that this woman sleeps on the floor of her office. She takes 20-minute naps on the floor of her office and then gets back to work. And that might sound shocking to you, and that might sound disturbing to you, but that's okay. You have different values. So it's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. My thing is my business. Cicely, the same way. This other woman I'm talking about, the same way. And it might be you. That might be you. So the question that you ask is, what would I do if I were not limited by time, by money, by education, by resources, by opportunities, by the people that I know? What would I do? Steve's here. Steve is doing that. Steve teaches people how to talk better on stage. Every time I ask him that question, he answers, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Cicely's doing it. You can tell me in the chat if you're doing it. What would you do if no limitations exist? What would you do? There are lots of things that I would do if I had no limitations, but I got to just pick one and I got to go with it. And you're experiencing that right now. You don't know this about me. I'll tell you, I would love to be a birth coach, a doula. I've done it 4 times, and every time I've done it, the people who are paid to deliver babies tell me that that's what I should do for work. I'm like, you're great at this. You should do that. I would love that. Go hang out with women pushing out babies and then vanish. I'm not doing any of the cleanup, of course. I'm just there to tell them, you can do this. But I say it in a way that might help. What would you do if you were not limited in any way? That's going to be your most inspired activity, right? That's it for you. What would you do at 2 a.m? What would you do 7 days a week? What would you sacrifice things for? What would you sacrifice that hobby that you really want to do this? What would you sacrifice time with your family for? I mean, if you're truly going to be that extraordinary achiever, you might have to. What would you give up your social circle for? Because your social circle is competing with your business. It's pulling you away from it. What would you give up TV for? What are the things that you would give up? What are the things that you would do that you would give up everything for? That's the first thing you have to do. So for this person, let's presume that it's HVAC design engineering. That's their highest inspiration. That's their most inspired activity. That's pretty cool, right? It's not mine, and it's a good thing it's not mine. We need someone. If everyone were an HVAC design engineer, then there would be a tremendous imbalance in the universe. So we need people who are inspired to do other things. By the way, you all know business is my most inspired activity, right? Business is my most inspired activity. And equally, there's someone else in the world right now that socialization is their most inspired activity. That balances me out. That balances them out. That's how it works. You'll never, ever look out at a placid lake, flat water, mirror-like surface. You'll never look out and then see somewhere a gigantic depression in the water or a wave that's just up like this and not moving. You will not see that because everything wants to be in balance. Just like the level of the water. Everything wants to be in balance. So your most inspired activity is going to balance someone else's. Okay, so that's the first question you must ask. Second question is, who? Who? Who is your inspired audience? Who would you talk to all the time? Who would you be excited to work with? Who is it that you truly seek to serve? These are people who are going to be with you through the good times, through the hard times. Who do you want to be side by side with? Who's going to stick with you through the good times and the hard times? Who's going to be there for you and you for them? This is your inspired audience. These are going to become your clients. Okay, so once you have this, and by the way, you can get as specific or as broad as you would like with this. You health and wellness people might be a little bit of a more broad audience. Would be interesting to test a more narrow audience. Women ages 35 to 55 who have 3 kids who are going back into the workforce feeling tired, or not going back to the workforce and they're doing their harder work being the mom. That's harder than going to a job, because your job, you're there for 8 hours. Your kids you're there 24 hours, so that's 3 times the work. And then they bite you. Your coworkers aren't going to bite you. Hopefully, it would be kind of weird if they did. Your coworkers aren't going to ask you to feed them, make them snacks. It might be cool if they did, but they're not going to. And you don't have to go and clean bathrooms. So, the mom is the harder job. So maybe that's who you're going after, right? The mom. That's a hard job. So who is it? You got to figure that out. So you analyze the following. Now, by the way, you don't have to know how to do this. You don't have to know how to do your most inspired activity. You have to figure it out. So that's step number 1. You're going to have to figure that out. Step number 2, you got to test the market. So you test the market by apply A to B above. That's how you test the market. In my world, I would tell you, if you came to me and said, hey, Chris, how do I test the market? I'd say you need 50 people from B, and you need to expose A to them. So you need to expose A to 50 people, and 3 of them should give you money in exchange for A. Now, if you know how to do A, you're in great shape. You've just received money, go deliver A. You have a 6% conversion rate. That's 3 out of 50 people. Go deliver A. If you don't know how to deliver A, you just have an idea. Let's take the birth coach example. If I decided today that I want to be a birth coach because I'm inspired to do it, I'm not going to do that, by the way. I'll be here for you. I decided to do that. Well, I got to find 50 pregnant women, and I got to say, hey, would you like a doodla to be there with you? And if I can get 3 of them to say yes, well, I can't take their money because I have no training in how to do this. I got to go figure it out. I got to go maybe get a certification, maybe get some rubber gloves. I got to go figure that out. So even if they gave me money, I would have to give it back. Doodla, I came up with that phrase after child number 2 was born, and the doctor looked at me and said, "You're really good at this. You should be a doula." And I said, "I should be a doodla." So I would have to give that money back. Now, there are people in my circles who create products. They create the sales page for products. They haven't created the product yet, and they put it out for sale, and they expose their audience to it. If people buy it, they either create it rapidly, my favorite way of doing things, or they refund their money, and then they go and create it and sell it again. The energetic exchange of money is going to validate that offer. Okay, so that's step number 2, test the market. You should always be testing your market. Step number 3, what are the skills you need to be successful? You have to figure out what are the skills that you need to be successful. I'm going to pop over to YouTube, see if there's anything going on over there. I've been neglecting the YouTube, the folks over on YouTube. I don't even know where that, oh, here it is. It's right here. I've got it muted. All right. Yeah, I've still got a bunch of people there. Thank you very much. Hang out, keep hanging out. We're moving along fast with this. All right. So what are the skills that you need to be successful? So clearly, you're going to need your core competency. So you're going to need your core, whatever your core competency is. That's what you're going to need. But you're also going to need some other things. And you might need, I'm going to start here and here. I'm going to go on either side of this with things that are subs to the core. So this is like, I'm just going to call this sub 1. And I'll try to think of an example. Like if you're a HVAC design engineer, it might be wise to know, to have skills in other areas of construction. Like it might be wise to understand the entire construction process from start to finish, permitting, the site work all the way to finish work. It might be wise to be able to read an electric plan. It might be wise to understand plumbing at some level so that you have a more well-rounded skill set, but you still have the core. The core is what people are hiring you for. They're not hiring you to come and take a shovel and flatten out a piece of dirt, but it would be helpful to know what kind of shovel you might need if you were doing that. So you've got your sub 1 and your sub 2, and then there are other skills that are tertiary related. So these are things like marketing. And this might be something like billing or accounting. I'll just put money, the money part of the business. And so to make this a true T, what happens here, especially when you're just starting out, is you've got to take your core and you got to do this. And now it becomes the T. All right. So at this point, this is where, all right, this is where it becomes the T. So you've got your core for what you do. That's your most inspired activity. That's what you decided you were going to do, that you've exposed to your market. You've exposed it to 50 people. You got 3 sales, 6% conversion rate. That's enough for me to say you've tested the market. They want what you have. They've exchanged money with you. And then you've explored the skills that you need to be successful. And so that's going to be your core. And then these are the things that you're stacking onto it. And then you've got your tertiary. How are you going to market your business? How are you going to handle the money in your business? And there's probably some other things there as well. And so this is what forms the T structure. And when you're able to successfully do this, let's look at what we've been able to achieve when you're able to successfully do this. Well, the first thing that we've been able to do is we've been able to construct, I'll circle things now, my circle. We've been able to construct an inspired activity with an audience that you wish to serve. You're already ahead of 99.5% of businesses out there. Because most people just start a business because they think either it's going to be easy or that they can make money fast, which you can't. It's the path of least resistance. All of these things come into play when people are starting businesses, but very few people actually sit down and do that honest self-introspection where they say, well, if I had no limitations, what would I do? And I don't have to know how to do it now. If I had no limitations, what would I do? And if I could do that, who would I do it for? Who are the people that I just want to be around? I just want to have this. As an HVAC design engineer, you might not want to work in residential, right? You might only want to work for high-end contemporary offices or restaurants. You might. So you're going to figure out who that audience is. So once you've done that, you are light years ahead because your mission is now clear. And then when you apply A to B, or you apply the mission to the market, and they demonstrate to you through the exchange of money from their bank account to your bank account, you've now proven that what you seek to do, that which inspires you most for those who inspire you most, you've now proven that you have something that they want to exchange money for some sort of a transformation. Let's tangent here for a moment. I'm going to tangent here with you. I'm going to go over here. I'll take some notes over here on the left side of the screen. If you really want to get to the ninja level with this, when you talk about what you're most inspired to do, if you truly want to get to the ninja level with this, one, you have to solve a problem the market has, but that's just not enough. That's not enough anymore. You have to solve a problem that keeps them up at night. That's not even enough anymore. You have to solve a problem that they can't solve on their own. And that's not even enough. You have to solve a problem they've tried and failed at solving. You weight loss people. Oof. You weight loss people. I mean, there's your market, right? Tried and failed. Who hasn't tried to drop some pounds only to gain it back. Tried and failed, tried and failed. Even better, solve a problem they've paid someone else to solve and failed. You start making all of this happen, you synthesize this, and we're going to make this like such an unbelievably complex drawing. You synthesize these two things together, two things, meaning this grouping and this grouping. You synthesize those two things together, now you got something. Now you got something. Your marketing becomes easy at this point. But there's another layer to this. And the other layer is, you ready? It's the layer of beliefs. I can't even believe we're getting this deep, right? This is going to get super deep. It's the layering of beliefs. You can't violate the layering of beliefs. I'll show you what they are. It's three things. Ready? And this is, I was just talking to somebody about this morning, yesterday. One, they have to believe that the solution works. They have to believe that the solution works. Now, you might be fighting against a strong tide here if they feel burned by others. Two, they have to believe that the solution will work for them. That's different. You can believe that something works, but if you don't believe it's going to work for you, you got some trouble. Definitely some trouble there in making that sale. But the biggest one of all, anybody know? Anybody know? This is actually my first coffee of the day. I forgot to make it this morning. They made it right before this. They have to believe. I was looking in the chat to see if anybody was going to chime in. Yes, Cindy, that's right. That's right. They have to believe that you can, pardon my terrible spelling. I hope none of you are English teachers here or on the YouTube. On the YouTube. That's so weird to say. They have to believe that you can make the solution work for them. Do you want insight in how to make each of these things come true? You want me to make your wildest dreams come true? Here, I'm just going to move my T because I'm starting to violate my T. How do you make these things come true? Here's how you do it. Hang on one second. How do you make these things come true? Well, they have to believe that the solution works. How do you help them believe that the solution works? You educate them in advance. So go to my YouTube channel. You guys who are on my YouTube channel, you're already there. Okay? So you have to educate them in advance. Provide them with a tremendous amount of education. Now they're going to see that the solution works. How do you get them to believe that the solution will work for them? Give them simple, small transformations. Okay? Give them simple, small transformations in advance of ever even communicating or having a sales call with them. Just give them simple, small transformations. You do this in the form of giving them tips, things that they can try, strategies that they can implement quickly to get a quick result. The key to this is simplicity. You don't want to give them the master's degree. You want to give them kindergarten. So Steve, who helps people on stage, helps people be more comfortable talking on stage, you wouldn't want to, in your social media, teach them how to outline a talk, how to have great eye contact with the audience, how to use body language to convey your message, how to speak without stammering, you wouldn't want to do that. What you would want to do is maybe teach them how to breathe just before you start talking. That's it. Before you step on stage, take 3 slow breaths. Inhale for 3 seconds. Hold for 3 seconds. Exhale for 3 seconds, right before you start talking. It's going to lower your heart rate. It's going to slow your talking. It's going to calm your nerves. It's going to get you centered so that you can go on stage and feel much more confident about your presentation. That's all you would do. The simplest of tips, as though we were teaching it to a 6th grader. I see the Q&A. I just want to make sure I'm not missing something in here. All right. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Somebody just typed something in the Q&A. 100%. This person says that their biggest struggle is they're always trying to present things at the PhD level when they need to bring it down to an 8th grade level. For you, my friend, I want you to bring it to like a kindergarten level, because you talking at a kindergarten level, you're still going to be talking at an 8th grade level. Somebody says, will we have access to this recording? I will find a way to get you access to this recording. I will pop it into the Inner Circle members area for you. Okay, so you got to give that's right. You'll have. Thanks, Cicely. I was actually going to say that next is that you could just go to YouTube and watch the replay as well. I just wanted to give somebody else the chance to say it. I can't have all the answers. Thank you, Cicely. It will be available for you. Just go to YouTube and go to my live section in my YouTube channel and subscribe while you're there. Why not? If you're not already subscribed. Yeah, you can just go back to YouTube and you'll see it there. So give them a simple, small transformation. Keep it at the 6th grade level or 4th grade level. Really, I mean, people, Piano Paul, you're not going to teach people to play a concerto in your social media. Teach them how to play one 3-finger move. Hey, you should try this. Put your finger on this key, and this key, press down and see how it sounds. Did it sound good? You did it right. Want to see how to implement that easily without having to learn how to read music so that you could sit down at the piano anywhere, anytime, and start cranking out great songs, gospel songs, or the theme to Titanic? Well, come to my free training. I'm going to teach you more stuff like this. Then in the free training, sell the course. Okay, so we've handled believe the solution works, believe it can work for them. By the way, you HVAC engineer, they know that the solution is going to work. They need air conditioning, right? They need air conditioning. So they know air conditioning works. They've felt cold air before. They know it's going to work for them because they've been in the grocery store and they went through the frozen food aisle and they were like, oh my gosh, it's really chilly over here. I wish I had this in my office when I'm building it. They know air conditioning works and they know it will work for them. So now they have to believe that you are the one that can make the solution work. And that all comes down to repeated, this might be the goal here, repeated exposure to content that demonstrates you as the expert, the authority. Did I spell it right? Authority, maybe. Who is trustworthy. Who is trustworthy. And you're ready for this? This is the new one. This is the new one. And who is educated. This is the new one. And you know why? You know why this is the new one? And you know where this is coming from? I'm going to share this with you. Expert, authority, and trustworthy, EAT, is not, I didn't come up with that. EAT, expert, authority, and trustworthy, that's Google. Google came up with that maybe a decade ago, as guidance for people how to create content that surfaces on the first page of search. So Google came forward and told us a decade ago, if you want to surface on the first page of search, you must demonstrate expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. And we're using EAT as a measure for getting you to show up. Well, where are we now? We're at a place now where anyone, thanks to certain tools that are out there, anyone can create expert type content that demonstrates authority. Trustworthiness, a little bit harder to come by, but the more you do it, the more trustworthy you'll be. So Google is now introducing the educated component to this. And they're seeking ways to determine if you're educated in the content that you create. So how's YouTube or how's Google going to do that? YouTube as well. Well, they're going to look at your complete picture. So, for example, we're really going on a tangent now. For example, I've advised this in the past. When you are cited somewhere, if you don't, I'll give you my example, and then I'll give you somebody else's who's here's example. Let's start with Cicely. Cicely's here. Cicely has her domain is CicelySimpson.com. Good for her. To get her name. I've been trying to get Chris Prouty forever. They're holding on to that thing with an iron grip. I have Christopher Prouty. I don't think people know how to spell that. If you don't have that, so if you have that, you already have elevated authority in Google's eyes. You already have elevated authority. So when Google needs to see if you're educated, it only has to make one stop, your website. You wrote something somewhere, it sees your name. The first thing it does is, do they have their named domain? Boom, over to the named domain, scan, 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 process, 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 educated. Check that box off. That works against me because the person who has chrisprouty.com has nothing there. So I can't leverage that. And what if you can't either? So what do? Link to your LinkedIn profile. When you're published somewhere, or when you're writing on your own website that's not your named website, link your name to your LinkedIn profile. Now you've made it easier for Google and others to look at your content, see your name, go somewhere, and then look at everything you've done somewhere and say, oh yeah, yep, educated. This you watch, well, I don't know, you might not see this, I will. This is going to become one of the most impactful things that you can do, is demonstrate your education everywhere. And we're already seeing it. We're already seeing evidence of it, not just in Google, but on LinkedIn as well. And in fact, a director of like search, and it's like director of search and visibility, but visibility is not the right word, at LinkedIn. Dan Roth is the dude's name. He came out and said, if you look at my LinkedIn profile, you can see what I'm all about. You can see that, I work at LinkedIn. I do all of these big brain things at LinkedIn. If I were to start creating content about training Chihuahuas, that is not contextually relevant, I'm using those words, to what my domain of expertise, my domain of education is. So there's no reason for that to surface anywhere. He might have said dog sledding, actually. I think he did. I think it was dog sledding. Because it's not contextually related to his area of expertise and education, which is then demonstrated in his LinkedIn profile, there's no reason for that content to surface. Now, the same is true for you. So this becomes a much bigger picture because the competition level is we're now competing with artificial intelligence. So, and by the way, You have a unique fingerprint in the content that you create. You have language patterns that you use. AI, even if they can analyze your content, is going to struggle to get to the level of detail with the language patterns that you use. I use the word dude a lot. I use the word cool a lot. If I use AI to get content ideas, even if I haven't analyzed my language patterns, rarely will those words surface. Google is all over that. It's all over that. So your new sphere that you're working in, this is no longer just let's create content, let's dance around and point at the air. This is let's create an online presence that demonstrates that we are educated, that we are experts, that we have authority, that we are trustworthy. Sound like a lot of work? Yeah, of course it's a lot of work. Think 95% of your competition is going to do it? No, they're not. They're lazy. They're asleep at the wheel. You have the advantage right now. Before this becomes a big thing, you have the advantage right now. This information that I'm giving you, this is days and weeks old. This isn't wildly out there. You have the advantage to be able to do this. Thank you very much. Dan Roth, editor-chief at LinkedIn. Yes, and Alice Ziong, the director of product management for LinkedIn Search and Discovery. That was the word I was looking for. Search and Discovery. Rukia, you sent that only to me, and thank you for that. We'll talk about that next week in the Inner Circle implementation workshop next Thursday. Please remind me of that. Actually, I'll remind myself. Hey Siri, remind me next Thursday at 11 a.m. to address Rukia's question about contributions. I want to cover that next week in detail in the Inner Circle workshop. That's a big one. That's a big one. Like, I'll summarize. Just get all over that. Just say yes to everything and go do it. That's going to be a big one for you. They're using that as a way to validate your education and your expertise. So get all over that. Just say yes. I'm going to set it. I want you to see what that question is, Cicely Simpson. There. So here we go. Now you got to demonstrate how educated you are. This is great. This is great. You know why this is great? Because you are educated. You just have to demonstrate it. So your takeaway from this is to make sure that everywhere you go, you're demonstrating that level of expertise. This might mean that the small bio that gets put at the end of every piece of content has to come back. We saw those go away for a little while. Maybe that has to come back. Maybe if you're using Gmail, you put a small bio at the end of every email after your signature. Why? Because Google reads every single one of your emails. Can't even take a sip. They are creating this matrix of information all about you. Worried? Don't be. It's great. It's great. This is your biggest advantage right now. All right. So I think I answered this question. It only took me 44 minutes to answer this question. The core of the question was, how do I stack my skills? Well, you get really good at your core competency, and then you bolt on related skills that are going to bolster this. So that when you sit in a room and you're pitching to a large construction company, by the way, that's the wrong circle. I'm not even going to do that circle. It's this. It's this. You're sitting in there pitching a multi-million-dollar HVAC design, and you're able to say, oh, I noticed that you already broke ground, which I'm going to presume means you have this permit, and this permit. That's going to make things a whole lot easier for me. They're going to sit there dazzled by this, because of the breadth of knowledge, but you don't have to know everything, just enough to be able to have the conversation. And if the marketing thing comes into play, well, maybe they've seen you on YouTube talking about HVAC designs. So now you have the halo effect. And if your finances are in order, they might not have visibility into that, but they might ask. But they might not have visibility into that, but you carry yourself differently when your finances are in order. When you're focused on the money, you carry yourself differently. I kind of feel like I should turn this into, I'm looking at this, I kind of feel like I should turn this into a class, like where we go deep into all of these things. You guys want that? Like there's only so much we can do in 46 minutes. I got a yes. Another one and another one. Oh, I got 3 yeses. And another one, 4. And I just got a test. That's even better. All right. Galvanize an inner circle. You will have access to this. All right. Everybody's saying yes. Go do your podcast. Thanks. Peace out. Thanks for being here. Okay. So what we'll do, what I'll do is I'll plan this. I already have a class that I'm planning for November. So I'll look at this for December. I'll see how I can organize this into a real deal class that makes a lot of sense. That's maybe 5 modules that bring you through each of these things. That'll be a lot of fun. And maybe I'll deliver it live and we'll record it. That might be a lot more. That might be a lot of fun too. Here's your, I'm going to count to 6, and then I'm going to shut off the screen share. So go ahead and take your screenshots. How many of you are sitting there with your phone right now taking a picture of your screen? You do know that you can take a screenshot without that. I see it all the time. I'm on calls with people and they're like, oh, hold on, let me take a screenshot of that. And then they take their phones out. And I'm like, on the Mac, it's Command 3. Hit the Command key and the number 3, and your cursor turns into a little plus sign, and you can drag around what you're screen capturing. Oop, I missed it. Okay, so Command 3, Command 4 will take an entire screenshot. Eileen uses a snipping tool on the PC. How do I do the screenshot? Now I can't remember. I don't remember. It's like Command 3 or Command 4. Darcy, always a Command Shift 4. Thanks. That's what it is. Command Shift 4 does it. It's not just Command 4. Command Shift 4. On the PC, print screen will work. If you have 2 screens, all print screen for Windows. If you're like Darcy and you have 15 screens, you got to figure that out. So Command Shift 4. Thank you, Rakita, for that. Command Shift 4. All right. That got you more than enough time. That was a very long answer to a very good question. I'm really grateful that that question was asked. That question was asked after the last live broadcast on from Zoom to YouTube. Somebody actually put that in the comments, which I thought was pretty cool. So there we go. Everyone here is thebomb.com, says Rukia. That wraps up. I don't have any other questions outstanding right now. So what I really like about what we got done today is that the idea for another class came out of this. Something that I can put together that's going to help you. And if you're in the inner circle, you'll get access to that. Just as and of course, Galvanized, you'll just get access to that as a part of your thing. So we'll have that coming up. What I'm going to do for you for November, so October is next week, and October we've got this. Let me share this with you. if you're on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, what I'm about to show you is going to freak you out a little bit because you're going to want it. So what I want you to do, if you're on YouTube, just put Chris Prouty into Google and send me a direct message somewhere. Even if it's 2026 and you're watching this, I'll get you access to this. We're going to fundamentally shift next week. I'm looking at the list. I think everybody here is Inner Circle right now. Good, yes, or galvanized. Next week on Wednesday, fundamentally shift the way your brain works to unlock the highest levels of achievement and extraordinary performance. You're going to have 10 new classes. Including the introduction. I'm going to make 11. I haven't made these recordings yet. I'm making these this weekend. Here's what we're going to cover next week. An introduction. We're going to get real clear on your purpose. And your purpose, not just in business, but in life, in the septenary of purpose. I'm going to show you how you actually have 7 different purposes, some more important than others. Okay, so that's what we're going to start with. Then the art and science of leveraging discipline to never need motivation again. I'm going to show you how the science behind this, nothing woo-woo, there's no woo-woo here. I'm going to show you the science behind discipline. There's a missing link in achieving unimaginable goals that very few people teach. I've only really seen one person teach it ever. I'm going to show you what that missing link is. It's going to unlock your ability to achieve the unimaginable. You're going to make people very nervous. We're going to talk about the pivotal role of the brain in achievement. We're going to go through the triune brain. And we're going to talk about the different parts of the brain and how it relates to your ability to achieve or not, why you might not be achieving the way you think you should. Module 5, we're going to resolve the conflict that exists in your life that is undermining your success. We start off by talking there are no business problems. There are only personal problems that show up in your business. So we're going to fix that. I'm going to show you how to master your emotions. If you really want to amplify your success, you got to get your emotions under control. I'm going to show you how to do it very easily, how I do it, how a lot of people do it. I'm going to show you how to take ultimate responsibility for your achievement. We're going to talk about controlling the past and controlling the present so that you can gain control over the future. Then we're going to talk about the fallacy of work-life balance. There is a fallacy there. There really is no such thing as work-life balance. And if there is, you're miscalculating things. I'm going to show you how this is not a scale that we're trying to balance out, but instead a system that self-balances. This one's a big one. This is not woo-woo, I promise you that. I'm going to show you how to ascend into a parallel reality. How to play with the multiverse. Not the multiverse out there on the internet, the multiverse, the multiple universes that exist all at the same time, that are all going on at once. I'm going to show you how to ascend into your own parallel reality. And I'm telling you this, once you do, you will never want to come back. You won't. You'll just be there. You'll be looking at the regular reality and you'll be like, how did I live there for so long? I'm going to show you how to ascend to a parallel reality. It's something that I have been able to do just in the past 2 years, 3 years. I've been able to do this. It is earth-shattering. You will not see this taught anywhere else. I am the only one that can teach you this. And I have tried to find anyone else that can teach this. So good news for you. I'm going to show you how to make that happen. Believe me, we're not opening up a portal. Okay. There's not a mirror that you're going to have to step into. I'm going to show you how to change your thought patterns so that you are in a parallel reality. And in that parallel reality, your entire life changes. You are able to see from that parallel reality into the other reality, but they cannot see into yours. And you'll be very thankful that they can't. And then we'll put it all together. And that is all happening next week. It's just going to be recorded modules that you're going to be able to consume. I'm going to be delivering this thing live down in North Miami Beach, a town called Hallandale. It's really actually not Miami Beach, but a little crash pad down there. And a bunch of people are going to be sitting around with me while I deliver it live. But you're going to have actual studio recordings for this. Yeah, all of that in one day. It's really going to take your mind and twist it around. But we're going to get all of that done in one day. So I'll broadcast that live as well. So I'll send it out to the inner circle and Galvanize if you want to watch me deliver it live. No, I can't promise you it's going to be of great quality. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to be a part of this, this is next Wednesday, October 4th. You'll have access to it in perpetuity. It's going to be in your learning portal. So you don't have to, if you're not going to be there live, like Jeremy's going to be there live, Eileen's going to be there live, a couple of people here will be there live. If you're not going to be there live, you just have access to it. So don't cancel your plans on October 4th. Just know that that's when I'm going to drop it into the learning portal, and that's when you can start consuming it. Okay. So it'll be there for you. In the chat, what was your biggest takeaway from our time together today? If you could tell me. Somebody says, can I buy you a coffee on Wednesday? Very generous of you to offer, completely not necessary. I do drink only black coffee. So if you feel like bringing me a coffee, great, but don't go out of your way for it. I know that's all I drink. And I'm still, even though I'm going to be traveling to the crash pad down there, I'm still keeping to my fasting schedule. So do not bring me food. I will not be eating. I won't be eating food on Wednesday. So don't even bring me a snack. Not even a anything. Nothing. Because that's how I roll. No, Rukia, no, I fast. I do extended fasting. Here, since we're over, I don't care if YouTube sees this. Since we're over, I'll show you where I'm at right now. You ready? Oh my God. Ready? I'm going to share my phone screen with you. Watch this. Watch this. Don't do this. This is not medical advice whatsoever. This is not medical advice or guidance or anything. Don't listen to me about anything. This is my fasting tracker. My last bite of food was Wednesday at 6:54 p.m. and my next bite of food is in 5 hours 57 minutes. Jeremy was going to invite me to a lunch buffet. I'll go to a buffet. I'm just not going to eat anything. I'll just sit there and look at it. Somebody else is doing OMAD, 1 meal a day. That's a great start. That's really all you need to do. I do 48. I do a 48-hour fast like this because it feels great for my brain. And I love this point right here. I'm going to click on this thing at the very top. My body goes into autophagy, which is the recycling of old components and breaking down of misfolded proteins linked to disease. That happens at the 24-hour mark. And that's a study. There's lots of studies on this, scientific studies on this. So what I try to do, normally I don't eat for 23 hours, 23 and a half hours. That's every day of the week. And then Wednesday to Friday, I do a 48 to give myself 24 hours in autophagy. So I'll eat tonight. And then I'll do a 36. I'm going to roll into a 36. So I'm going to stop eating tonight at, let's see, I'll start eating at 6:54. I'll probably eat pretty quick tonight because might be a little hungry right about now. It's okay. So it'll probably take me like 15 minutes to eat tonight. And then I'm going to roll into a 36-hour fast till Sunday morning. Then I'm going to feed my body a lot of food on Sunday and start it all up again. So that's how I roll. Don't do this. Don't do this. Or do it and see how you feel. The way that you do it is that you start by doing 12 hours. So you stop eating at 6 p.m. and then you have breakfast and you go 12 hours without it. Most people can't even go from 6 p.m. till they go to bed without eating. So you start with that, just dinner and done, and then eat your breakfast. Do that for a week to 2 weeks. Then move from 6 p.m. to like 9 a.m. Give yourself another 3 hours. That's 15 hours. And then you do that for a couple of weeks. And then you go, and then you're like, oh, that's not so bad. That's not so bad. I stopped eating at 6. I started eating at 9. Then you go from 6 p.m. to noon. See if you can get to noon the next day. That's 18 hours, right? By my calculation, that's 18 hours. And now you're at 18 hours, and that's fine. and the 6 hours of eating. That's what most people who fast do, is 18-6. Very easy to do. After a while, I eat between the hours of 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. Yeah, that's what we're just talking about right now. Yep. And Jeremy is 12 to 6 as well. That is 18-6. That is a very, very safe, very easy way, very healthy way to do intermittent fasting. Then you're going to get to a point where you're like, hey, I think I could go longer. And you try to go to 3 p.m. And then all of a sudden you're at 5 p.m. And now you're doing 23-1, which is one meal a day, 23 hours, one. And then I do 23 and a half because it only takes me a half an hour to eat. And then you do that for a couple of weeks and you're like, I wonder if I could do a 36. 36 is hard because you got to not eat dinner and you got to go to bed. And if you're anything like me, all you dream about is food. And boy, they are dazzling dreams of food. But then you wake up and you get to eat. And that's pretty cool. And then, yeah, that 36 is tough. And then you get to the, thank you so much, Steve. And then you get to the 36, and I've only been doing 48s for 3 weeks now. You get to the 36, I'm like, can I possibly do this? And then what you should never do is what I do, which is every 12 hours, I run. So I run at 6 a.m., 6 p.m., even fasted. So before I eat tonight, after 48 hours, I'm going to go for a run. And I ran this morning, and I ran last night, and I ran yesterday morning. So that's 4 runs while I do it. But that's my body. You got to be careful. I don't know if that's you. You got to be really careful. You got to stay hydrated too. Drink a lot of water and get your electrolytes.